Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to another exciting day in mathematics. Whoop, whoop. How's everybody doing? Good? All right, warm-up number 30 is on the screen. Let's get started, please. By now, we are experts at this. How you doing? How you doing? All right, check with the neighbor, see what they got. Since Mario's already done, he's going to get us started in a little bit. Let's go, Mario. Just FYI, this session is being recorded. All right. All right, here we go. Mario, mean. 6. Hands if you got 6. Looks about right. We need a standard deviation or sigma. Check with the neighbor, see what they got. And Mario's going to pass someone. Hey, Mario. Who? 3.03. Hands if you got that. Looks about right. So on the up, we are at 9.03. On the down, we got 2.97, which means our norm is from 2.97 all the way to 9.03. What does that mean in regards to these numbers and the norm? Tell your neighbor, and then Alessandra is going to enlighten us. Talk to your neighbor. Bless you. Yes. What does that mean in regards to the norm and these numbers? What would you conclude? Okay. And what other one? Let's go. All right, we good? All right, so Alessandra's going to enlighten us with the answer. So, Alessandra, what does that mean in regards to those numbers? 1 and 10 are not in the norm. Write that down, please. That is correct. Alessandra, you remind me of being in kindergarten. Let's go. All right, copy the agenda. Warm-up number 30 is done. We're in the middle of frequency tables and graphs. Tonight's home play, actually, before you leave home play, practice problems number 3 and 4. Because last night, I left you guys 2 practice problems from the video lesson. Is that correct? All right, good. Very good, very good. All right. Copy the code to access the home play. 3WNSY, 3WNSY. But like I said, you will finish this at the end of the period. We're going to go a little faster on this one because it's going to be more like a review session of what you saw last night in the video lesson. All right. So this was last night's home plate. This is for in a little bit. And get a Cornell note ready, please. You don't need a Frere model. All right, so here we go. I can represent frequency tables and graphs, or into graphs. So we're still in the middle of frequency tables, even though we did an introduction to frequency tables some time back. Is that correct? Yes, Mr. Q. And we know that we're collecting data. There's both categorical and quantitative. Tell your neighbor another word for categorical. What's another word for categorical? That starts with the letter Q. Qualitative. My goodness. So, we got that. We did the notes on frequency tables not too long ago. Is that correct? It looks something like that. And I gave you guys steps to do that. So, in the video, I introduced 3 graphs: histograms, frequency polygons, and ogives. And then I also mentioned that in histograms, there's more types of histograms that look like this. We'll get a little bit more into that later. And stay focused. Please put away those mobile devices. Appreciate it. Then on the video lesson, I gave you guys an example for a histogram, and it looks something like this. Is that correct? From there, we did one for frequency polygons with the same table, and it looks something like this. Now, why is it called frequency polygon? Because it comes from frequency, and the graph looks like a polygon, which means it's a figure with many sides once you connect it. From there, we did an ogive, also from the same table, and what did you notice on that one? It just kept rising and rising, but you just connected the points at the end. Is that correct? Yes, Mr. Q, we love these. All right, good. So, copy this table, please. Onto your notes. We're going to do one completely together with all 3 different graphs to make sure we're on the same page. Just in case some of you were absent yesterday and didn't see this, and just in case some of you didn't do your home play, not that you guys didn't do it, but you know what I'm saying? All right, copy that. All right, here we go. So, now that you have the table reads class boundaries and frequencies, and this is on miles IHS track students run in 1 week. Okay, bless you. So first things first, we're going to start by producing a histogram. A histogram, the one that has the bar graphs, right? So first thing we do, we get our quadrant over here. So do that, please. Create one of these quadrants. And on the table, so you know where we're at, class boundaries are our x, and frequency is always our y. All right? So over here is our frequency. I'm just going to put F for frequency. And down here are boundaries. Boundaries. All right. So if you notice on the boundaries, the lowest one is 5.5, and the highest one is 40.5. So since there's nothing below 5.5, start your graph here on the X with a little wiggle like this. And then we start with 5.5. Then from there, we go with the next one, which is 10.5. Then the next one up is 15.5. From there, we go to 20.5. And it goes by 5s all the way up, right? Yes, Mr. Q. All right, good. And then 30.5. Then 35.5. And lastly, 40.5. All right, so we got all those from here. So we started with a small one. Then I used all the high boundaries all the way through. All right, next, frequency. We start at 1, and what is the highest frequency, guys? 5, so let's scale this. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, here we go. So pay attention to those that got lost with this. Here it goes. I'm going to look at the first two boundaries, which is this one. This is my first class. It's from what? 5.5 to 10.5, yes? And what is the frequency? 1. So 5.5 to 10.5 and 1. So I'm going to place a point somewhere in between those two. And then, check this out. I close it, and I shade it, and I create a little bar. Let's go to the next one. What's my next class? From 10.5 to 15.5, and that is 2. 10.5 to 15.5, that is 2, so there. Close it, shade it. Next one, 15.5 to 20.5, and that is 3. So from here to here, all the way to 3. Next one, from 20.5 to 25.5, and that is 5. How you doing? Okay, thank you. Natalie, where are we at? From 20 to 25.5, that's 5. So all the way up here. And shade it. Then we go to the next class, which is 25.5 to 30.5, and that is 4. Then the next class from 30.5 to 35.5, that's 3. And the last one from 35.5 to 40.5, that is 2, which is right there. And that's it. From 1 to 5, how comfortable are you with that? Yeah, we got it, right? All right. Next. Underneath that, copy the table one more time, please. The same table, same table. So this one I'm going to do in green. And which one are we on now? We are on frequency polygon. So if you want to label it, that's what it is, frequency polygon. So what's so different from this one to the previous one, Mr. Q, that for this one, we need an extra column. So I'm adding a column here to the table. Tell your neighbor, what would be the title for that one since you did this yesterday? What would we title that next column? All right, looks like Juan got it. Alessandro's got it. I see you, Alessandro. Jimena's got it. I see you, Jimena. Illy's got it. I see you, Ileana. Let's go with Mr. Q. How about that? We're going to label this mid. Mid what? Point. That is correct. Midpoint. Label that. Midpoint. So let me zoom in and refresh your noodle as to how to find the midpoint. So right now I'm focused on this class. How do we find the midpoint of that class? Well, it has to be between 5.5 and 10.5. Is that correct? Or the easiest method is by doing this. What is 10.5 plus 5.5? That's 15. That's 16. Then you divide by what? 2, and that gives us 8. That's our first midpoint. Let's go to the next class. Next class. 15.5 plus 10.5, that's 25, that's 26. Divided by 2, that is 13. Next one, 20.5 plus 15.5, that's 35, plus one more, that's 36. Divided by 2, that is 18. Now check this out. Once you have a pattern, look, now we don't even have to do the math here. We just go straight to the next one. Look at the pattern and tell your neighbor what would be our next midpoint. What would be our next midpoint? Everyone, the next midpoint. What is it? Michael Jordan. Let's go. 23. That is correct. And then from there, 28. And then from there, 33. And last but not least, 38. Is that correct? And for those of you that didn't see it, it's going up by 5. By 5. All right. Let me zoom out now. And once again, not to be redundant, but we need to create a little quadrant on the side. And again, the y is always our frequency. And here, down here, instead of writing class boundaries, I'm going to write what? Midpoint. Midpoint. Up here, frequency. So here we go. For midpoints, we start at 8, and the highest is what? 38. Okay. However, check this out. We are going to use the class boundaries, but I'm labeling midpoint down here to remind me to use that as my coordinate. So here we go. My class boundaries, they start at 5.5 again. 5.5. 10.5. Then I go to 15.5, 20.5, 25.5, 30.5, 35.5, 40.5. And then I got my frequencies from 1 to 5 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, here we go. Let's graph. My x now is 8, and my frequency is 1. So 8 is between 5.5 and 10.5 and 1, so I just place 8 points. Next, 13 and 2. 13 is between these two, so 2 is right there. Next, 18 and 3. 18 is between 15.5 and 20.5, and 3 is about right there. Next, 23 and 5. 23 and 5 is right up here. Next, 28 and 4. 28 is between these two and 4. Then we got 33 and 3. Between these two, 33 and 3, right there. And last but not least, 38 and 2. 38 is between these two and 2, which is right there. Here we go. To create our polygon, we start here at the very first boundary, go up to the point, and connect all the points. And it's going to start looking like a polygon. Does that look like a polygon? Yes? So, from 1 to 5, I'll come to bar you with that. So, yeah, 5. So now check this out, just so that you can see the difference from the previous one. The previous one looked like this. Did we use midpoints? Not really, is that correct? And then we just created bars for each section. For this one, we used the midpoint, and we just placed the points and connected all points. All right? All right, copy the table one more time, because at the end we're going to do the last one, which is the Ogive graph. This is the one that some of you had problems with. Get it? Problems. All right, copy that again. All right, for this one, we're going to create now an Ogive graph. Ogive. What? Ogive. So, Mr. Q, what's so different about this one and all the other ones? For this one, we need to create another little table underneath this table. So look up. So you draw a bar like this. A bar down the middle. On the right side, instead of writing frequency, I'm going to write cumulative frequency. And I'm just going to use the F or the symbol for frequency. There it is. On the left side, instead of class boundaries, I'm just going to write class. However, we're going to fill this table with this one. So pay attention to this one because this is where some of you get lost a bit. Here it goes. For the first class, which is going right here, I'm going to start with my lowest boundary, which is what? 5.5. I write 5.5, but I write less than. Less than. Write the little less than symbol. Less than 5.5. So look at the table here. Is there anything below 5.5? No, so then we write 0. Let's go to the next class. Next class, and I'm going to write, check this out, now I'm going to start using these right here. These all the way down. So my next one is less than 10.5. So you guys see 10.5 here and 10.5 here. So question, what is the frequency below 10.5? So if 10.5 is here, what is that frequency? 2, but that's at the top, but below that is what? Is what? 1. So that one is 1. 1. So don't worry about this last one. Always stay at the top. Let's go to the next one. Less than 15.5. So now I'm here. So now watch. What is the frequency for here? The frequency is what? 2. However, since we're saying less than, so what else is less than? Everything else is less than, right? So it would be 2 plus what? 2 plus 1, so that would be 3. Is everybody following? Next class. Next class is less than 20.5. So 20.5 is here. What is that frequency? 3, but everything below should be a total of what? A total of 6. That is correct. So less than 25.5. So you never what would be the next number for less than 25.5. What would be that number? Joe. $11, that is correct. Very good. Let's go to the next class. Less than 30.5. Tell you never what number goes there, and Joe's going to pass someone. What's the frequency or cumulative frequency below 30.5? Pass someone? All right, so here's 30.5, and now we're looking at everything below that. So, go. $15. Hands if you got 15. That is correct. So all the frequencies below that. All right. Go to the next one. Less than 35.5. So you near that number, please. That frequency, cumulative frequency. Then we're going to pass someone. Okay. $18. Hands if you got 18. That is correct, because that one goes here, and we're adding everything that and all the way down. And of course, our last one, less than 40.5, that would be what, everyone? 20 is correct. Okay. So with that said, let's create our quadrant over here. So over here, again, I'm going to put, over here is cumulative frequency, which is on the Y. However, over here, we got our class, And again, the wiggles. And we start at 5.5, go to 10.5, 15.5, 20.5, 25.5, 30.5, 35.5, and 40.5. However, look at the cumulative frequency. It goes from 0 all the way to what? 20. Should I go by ones here? That would be a lot of tallies, right? What do you guys want to go? Fives? Okay, let's go by 5. So let's do 5, 10, 15, 20. All right, here we go. So we got 5.5 and 0. 5.5 and 0, it's right there. Next one, 10.5 and 1. 10.5 and 1, very close right there. 15.5 and 3. 15.5 and 3. 20.5 and 6. 20.5 and 6. 25.5 and 11. 25.5, 11 up here. 30.5 and 15. 30.5, 15. 35.5 and 18. 35.5, 18. And lastly, 40.5 and 20. 40.5 and 20. Let's connect them. And that's the what? Ogive. Ogive. From 1 to 5, I'll come to you with these. So once again, here are the 3 once more. The first one we started with was histogram. We know that that's straightforward. We just use that and that. From there, we went to frequency polygon. What did we needed to add? The midpoints. We know how to define that. And lastly, ogive. We needed to make a new table with the cumulative and the class. All right. Thank you, Mr. Q. All right, so there it is. So we have exactly 15 minutes. Pair up with someone to see who's going to do which one. This is due at the end of the period. I'm going to open up an assignment on Canvas. So there it is. Those of you following on YouTube, put in some work. See you guys next time. Peace.